Hello there and welcome. In this episode we're discussing Caulerpa, how to grow it, what it's like as something you put in your fish tank, and we're also going to be discussing what happens when Caulerpa goes sexual. So firstly, Caulerpa is a very popular green macroalgae. Caulerpa isn't just one kind of algae, it has lots of different species within it. In this particular tank there are about 4 different species of Caulerpa algae. Now Caulerpa algae looks a lot like a plant, but in fact it is its own thing. It's actually a unicellular organism, and what that means is the entire piece of algae is actually one cell, which is pretty amazing when you come to think of the fact that its stolon and its leaves, which aren't technically leaves, they look completely different, but they are in fact the same cell. Even down to the holdfasts you can see on that bit of Caulerpa prolifera there, that's still the same cell as the leaves on this algae. And that's pretty amazing when you come to think of it. Now in general, Caulerpa tends to follow a very similar rule. You have a long stem, you have some roots that come out the bottom, and you have some sort of leaf. Now they're not technically leaves, but we'll call them leaves. Now all Caulerpas are green, and all of them like quite a bit of light to grow on, and they grow very, very quickly. Caulerpa is in fact one of the best algae you can add to your aquarium if you're looking to remove nitrates and phosphates very quickly, because they grow so fast and they will strip a lot of the excess waste from your fish tank. Now different Caulerpas grow in different areas. Most of them will grow quite happily on a sand bed like this, but some of them also like to grow onto rockwork. This Caulerpa lentilifera, which is commonly called green grape algae, likes to grow primarily over the rockwork and will venture out onto the gravel when it can. Opposite to this is this blade-like Caulerpa, Caulerpa prolifera. Now prolifera doesn't really like to grow onto rockwork and really prefers to grow over in the substrate. So when you're choosing your Caulerpa for your aquarium or your refugium, you need to actually know where your Caulerpa prefers to grow. Now this algae isn't particularly difficult to grow as long as your lighting is relatively powerful and it's at the right spectrum for corals, or indeed it can even be a plant light, and also you have enough nutrients in your aquarium. Caulerpa will tend to grow quite well. Now one thing you do have to bear in mind is that every time a bit of Caulerpa grows it takes nutrients from the aquarium, which is excellent. But to grow this successfully, you actually need to reintroduce those nutrients to your aquarium. So adding a fertilizer, such as a nitrate and phosphate fertilizer, or indeed you could add an all-in-one aquarium plant fertilizer, will be very good for growing Caulerpas. Now, Caulerpas have one downside, but I think it's a very overstated downside, and that is the fact that there is a bit of a fearmongery about it going sexual. Now, what I mean by going sexual is when Caulerpa decides that the environment it's in isn't quite to its liking, what will happen is the entire algae will go white, release spores, and try and reproduce itself somewhere else more favourable for growth. Now, what happens when your algae goes sexual is it looks a little bit like this. It goes a bit white and clear, and all of the nutrients it's holding within it get released into your fish tank. Now online there are so many horror stories and rumours that something like this aquarium full of Caulerpa can completely go sexual overnight and kill everything within your aquarium due to excess nutrients like ammonia being released. I'm going to have to call that myth out because I've been keeping Caulerpa for many years now, and yes, you do get sections of Caulerpa that go sexual, but you never have an issue where the whole thing can die overnight. In fact, if this aquarium and all the algae within it went sexual overnight, it was not because the algae is at fault, it's because I'm doing something so wrong that the algae has no choice but to go sexual. The best way to manage Caulerpa going sexual is actually to make sure it has enough light, has enough nutrients to grow, and you regularly trim it as well so it doesn't become overpopulated, because that's another stimulant for it becoming sexual. So just treat it like a normal planted aquarium and you'll be perfectly fine and won't have to worry about it going sexual and killing everything in your fish tank. Another thing to note with Caulerpa is that it is very, very fast growing. For example, this rock here was colonised completely by this lentilifera over about 2 to 3 weeks. So bear in mind, when you do add this to your main display tank, you have to be careful not to allow it to overgrow your corals or other things in your fish tank. I'll just tell you the best species to add to your aquarium if you're a little bit hesitant to play with Caulerpa, but you want something in there that's green and looks a bit vibrant. The best one you should go for is this Caulerpa prolifera. The main reason is that it sticks to its gravel and is easily trimmable. Also, it doesn't grow that fast, so if you think it's getting out of control, you can easily take bits out and keep it in the area you want it. I would avoid anything like Lentilifera or Racemosa because these ones can overgrow quite quickly. Other than that though, I think Caulerpa is an amazing addition to any fish tank. It makes the whole thing look way more natural, and also it sucks out quite a lot of the waste materials in your tank, helping the rest of your inhabitants to thrive. So thanks for watching. I hope this has been useful. If you'd like to see more of this kind of content, please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and happy fish keeping!